Morning, Botai, Erev Shabbat Shalom. The past few days we've been speaking about the mitzvah of tochacha, the mitzvah to rebuke one's fellow if you see him doing something wrong. There's an interesting midrash Rabban, Parashat Shemini. It's also quoted briefly in Masechet Sanhedrin, Daf Kuf Aleph Amud Bet. The Gemara says another very important point when it comes to rebuking one's fellow. The Gemara tells a story that once Shlomo HaMelech, it took him 7 years to build the Beit HaMikdash. During that entire time, he never drank wine. He was super focused on the building of the Beit HaMikdash. The day before the inauguration, or the night of the inauguration of the Beit HaMikdash, he married his first wife, Bat Par'o, married her. In honor of the wedding, he drank wine. He went to sleep late. He was planning, he took the keys to the Beit HaMikdash, he put it under his pillow. He was planning to wake up early the next morning to open the Beit HaMikdash so that the Kohanim could start offering Korban HaTamid. Bat Par'o, his new wife, she did something a little tricky. She put something on top of his head that made it look like the sun didn't rise yet, and he overslept big time. He overslept until the 4th hour of the day. What happened was, his mother, Shlomo HaMelech's mother, Bathsheba, she broke into his bedroom. She woke him up quickly. She told him, "What are you sleeping for?" She rebuked him very, very harshly, and he finally got up, and he gave the keys. He opened the Beit HaMikdash, and they started the avodah in the Beit HaMikdash. In the meantime, the Midrash says that one of the thousands of people outside in the Azara waiting for the inauguration of the Beit HaMikdash, one of them was Yerovam ben Nevat. He was not yet king. He gathered 1,000 people from Shevet Ephraim, his own Shevet, and he started publicly shaming and excoriating Shlomo HaMelech. He says, "What kind of king is this? Who acts like this?" They had a big spectacle. Kadosh Baruch Hu came to Yerovam and he says, "Why are you judging him? Don't you know the Mishnah? The Mishnah says in the second perek of Pirkei Avot, Al tadun et chavercha shtageh lemkomo. You're not allowed to judge your friend until you get to his place. You don't know what the circumstances behind why he came late were. Why are you acting like this?" He says, "Chayecha." Hashem made a shvuah. He says, "I'm going to give you to taste from the malchut, from the kingdom that Shlomo HaMelech has, and you're going to see you're not going to be able to withstand the test." That was the beginning of the end of Yerovam ben Nevat. As a result of this thing that he jumped so quickly to scold somebody without finding out what are the circumstances behind what's going on here. The Gemara, also Sanhedrin Kuf Bet Amud Bet, one more daf, the Gemara tells a story. There are 3 kings, the Mishnah in Masechet Sanhedrin says that there are 3 kings that don't have a chelik la'olam haba. They are Yerovam, Achav, and Menashe. The Rav Ashe, the Amora, was sitting and giving shiur about the kings that didn't have a chelik la'olam haba. He finished speaking about Yerovam and Achav, and he says, "Tomorrow we'll get to our friend Menashe. We'll speak about him." That night, Menashe, Melech Yehuda, the son of Chizkiyahu, comes to Rav Ashe in a dream, and he says, "Who are you calling your friend?" He says, "Do you even know when you make Birkat HaMotzi, when you make B'tziat HaPat, you know where to cut the bread from? You know the Halacha?" He says, "No, I don't know." He says, "Tell me." He says, "You cut the bread from the place where it begins to crust, and the most well-baked part of the bread in honor of the bracha." So he says, "You don't even know the simple halacha, and you're calling me your friend?" He says, "You're right. So if you're so smart, why did you worship Avodah Zarah?" He says, "If you were in my generation, you'd pick up your robes and run to the Avodah Zarah so that you don't get caught in the way, so that you can zoom to get to the Avodah Zarah." That's what he told him. The Gemara brings another example of not judging somebody else until you know the circumstances behind what's going on. Why did the person do this? So that's another very, very important point when it comes to rebuking one's fellow. Have a wonderful day and Shabbat Shalom. Don't forget.